Guys, this is Dark Magician here and welcome to another KOF video. Guys, before I start, I just want to mention that I did record this video earlier, but I tried it on BlueStacks on my PC, but somehow I don't know if it's because the video was long, so it was corrupted. So that's why now I'm recording it all over again, so I'm sorry for the delay because of that. But yeah, as you guys know, now is the surprise of the month. I mean, nobody expected this to happen, but yeah, they did introduce Transcendence K to the game at this stage, which is too soon, honestly. But yeah, they made it work in the Thanksgiving event. As you can see from the event right here, it's not actually bad. It's pretty good. You can see he didn't come in a limited draw. You can buy packs to get some fragments, to get his weapon, or eventually, gift packs in order to get more fragments of him, guaranteed fragments. So overall, the event isn't really bad. It's actually good if you really want to consider him. But this raises the question, apparently we will be having a boss in December as well, at the beginning of December. But no worries. Until then, don't worry about that, guys. We're gonna talk about it in the end of the video. But without any delay, today's character introduction will be for Transcendence K. Okay guys, as you can see, Transcendence K is an API 15 DPS. Of course, the stats, high crit power as usual. The feature says Transcendence Flame and Burst output, pretty much because, guys, he's the new core, let's say, of Flame teams, if there are any Flame teams now. But yeah, he's a new core and he's a mega booster to Flame using fighters. Of course, his feature also says Flame, which along with other fighters which uses Flame. And Protagonist, because he's an important part of the story, along with Kyo, Iori, Kei, Crazy Iori, Nest Kyo, Ash, Instinct Iori, Flame Kyo, Elizabeth, and Shunei. So, now moving to his fates, we have first the Intertwined Fate. We need Transcendence K, Whip, and Chrysalid, increasing attack plus 25%. K-Team, we need Transcendence K, Ice Gold, Kula, and Maxima 14, increasing attack plus 25%. So that's the new team from the KOF 14. Of course, Kula and Maxima will be showing up later in the game. And of course, Flame Core, we need Transcendence K, Sais, Yunes, Kyo, and Psyche, increasing attack plus 25%. So actually, guys, his fates aren't as hard as other ones. I mean, the first one is easily unlocked. The third one is okay if we can get, let's say, Psyche for free later on from the bar, hopefully, or if you can accumulate enough fragments for him. But of course, this remains the hardest fate to unlock, unless you are going for the full team, which will be a good bonus for all of them. Now, yeah, his weapon, heat-proof sunglasses, and he uses Flame Badge and Scorching Tongue. Now, moving to his fight soul, it's called the Transcendent Soul. Gain a large number of rage initially and restore 55 rage if one ally or enemy dies. So, of course, it's a combination of a Wild Bear Soul and a Tiger Soul in one. Now, starting with his skills and his passive, Transcendence, increase flame ultimate damage of fighters on own side. So that's why he's the core of flame teams. He increases the flame ultimate damage of the fighters on his own side, of course increasing his own resistance by 15% and increases attack, defense, and HP drain by 35%, which is a big boost for him. And of course, he is immune to debuff when he's deployed in round 1. And in round 1 also, he will release the small skill for sure. And he will gain 7 layers of Transcendent Soul. Of course, I'm going to be showing the Transcendent Soul in a screenshot. As you can see, it's a flame, let's say, or a fire icon near his head, such that he gains 7 layers of it. Now, each layer of this Transcendent Soul will provide him 15% crit, and he can hold up to 7. Now, some here will wonder, like, yeah, 7 layers times 15, it would be 105% crit. Is that possible? Well, yeah, it is possible because he starts with that much crit solely from those layers. He's a very hard crit dealer. He deals a lot of crit all the times. But of course, it isn't that perfect. 1 layer of Transcendent Soul will be cost for each critical hit he makes. So every time he makes a critical hit, he will consume 1 layer, such that 1 layer will be consumed and he will restore 100 rage out of it, which isn't bad actually. But at the same time, he can gain this 1 layer back. So he gains 1 layer if the attack doesn't cause a critical hit. So to crit or not to crit, this is actually a pretty good feature for him. You will see him critting most of the times, if not all of the times. So that's a very good boost for him as a DPS. If Transcendence K is the only flame fighter of own side, which pretty much he will be for most of us, when the round starts, a random non-flame ally will be seen as a flame fighter for the whole battle. Now, if there isn't any other flame type fighter along with him, there will be a random fighter that will be seen as a flame fighter. However, this fighter won't receive the ultimate damage boost from him, but instead, Transcendence K will gain 1 layer of Transcendent Soul when that fighter dies and will restore 20% max HP and 300 rage. So usually let's say they include a non-flame fighter as a flame fighter for him to boost K when he dies. That's it. Okay. And of course, last part, Transcendence K won't die in the first time he takes immortal damage. His debuff will be dispelled immediately, restore HP, which is worth 500% of his own attack. That's why improving his attack is a good point. And increase his own ultimate resistance and small skill resistance by 35%. And of course, the effect will last for the whole battle and will gain 2 layers of the Transcendent Soul. So he's like Clark basically. He won't really die immediately, but will recover HP and gain more defense. Like Clark pretty much. Now here we need to mention at level 1 he increases 20% damage of flame ultimate fires of allies deployed and even aid allies, which is good. And it starts with 20%, guys, so imagine how high it would go as you level it up. That's why he's a mega booster of flame using fighters. Okay, now moving to his minor skill in trigger second, shoot. Attack a single enemy, increases anti-crit by 30%, and if the attack causes a critical hit, which most likely it will, 12% extra damage will be dealt, worth 12% max HP damage will be dealt to the target, and of course the damage ignores the immunity to debuff. If Transcendence K is in the back row, or if he's the only one on own side, the Fury of Flame effect will be gained. What is this effect? He will restore, or flame fighters will restore 50 rage when they are hit. So every time a flame fighter will be hit, they will restore 50 additional rage, and not only for them, but also for K himself, he will restore 50 extra rage and HP, which is worth 100% of his attack. So it's a pretty good boost for him if he has flame-based fighters along with him. And this effect will last for 2 rounds, and it can be activated 3 times for each round. So 3 times in each round he can make good use of this part. Okay, and finally his ultimate chain drive. Attack a single enemy, increase own damage and resistance by 20%, dispel his own debuff, and add a Transcendence Flame to the target, which will deal continuous damage and won't restore rage for the target, and it will last for 2 rounds and won't be dispelled, and that's the annoying part of it. So he will be burning the opponents, and it can be cleared for 2 rounds. In addition to that, decrease ultimate resistance of the target by 10%, which will last for 1 round, and ignore the immunity to debuff. So even the ones immune to be debuffed will be affected by that, like Ralph for example. And decrease to 150 rage of the target. If the attack causes a critical hit, which most likely it will, 30% extra damage of this attack will be dealt to the enemy behind the target. So he will be able to attack a column and not only one target if that happens. And the damage of course will ignore the immunity to debuff, and it won't restore rage, and will add a Transcendence Flame to that target as well. So it's a pretty dangerous ultimate when you put it like that. And after the weapon awakens, the effect will be improved in an all-round way, such that the terrain effect Flame River will be activated. I don't know if you guys saw it before, but somehow whenever he makes an ultimate, if he has his weapon activated, he changes the background into a Flame River. Now what does it mean? It's not mentioned here, but it means that he can improve, or he can increase the skill resistance of his allied fighters, flame fighters, by 30 or 35%, I think. It's skill resistance. I don't know if there's an additional part of it. So yeah, it would actually make sense to you if you do have other flame using fighters. Okay guys, so that was it regarding K's skills. Now sadly his gate partners are not available yet, because he just came too early, and there isn't any other website to check them on it. Now some people are suggesting they might be Maxima, Whip, and API 14 Kula, because they do make sense, but usually it doesn't really matter much. I mean, usually it's gonna be 2 API 13s, 1 API 14, so usually unlocking the gates isn't a struggle to us anymore. Okay guys, now the real question remains, is K a good fighter or not? Well, Definitely, guys. I mean, as a DPS part, he's insane. He's really good. You know how I used to, let's say, talk in my previous videos about the DPSs that we're gonna get. Now here it's ironic because we got 3 DPSs back to back, and now K being the 4th one. I mean, honestly, I didn't expect that they would put him that fast. So usually I would say if you do have Mature or Terrico, let's say, then they can just stay, they can be the rulers of DPS or the kings of DPS for a long time until K appears. But now K appears like 1 month after that, so it's a kind of a struggle. So I would still say, guys, if you are using Terrico or Mature, you're good to go. K would be a great addition, of course, to any team, but you're good on the DPS part, as long as you have those two. If you don't have those two, then definitely consider K. He would be really recommended for that. But I'd still say Mature, K, or Terrico, those 3 will be good as your DPS. Okay? Now, in addition to that, though, so that's why I would say, offensively speaking, he's really annoying. The insane crit rate, his flames are so annoying. He does tons of damage. But in terms of defense, I should mention that he's kind of like Clark, and we can see that Clark isn't the best in terms of defense. So that's why K, in a way, can be countered by his weak defense. I'm not gonna say weak defense, but his defense isn't as good as other fighters. So that would be one drawback for him. But overall, as a DPS, he's great. In which teams should you use him? Of course, it's pretty obvious. I mean, flame fighters, if you are using any other flame fighters, it would be a great boost for them. The thing is that currently there aren't any much flame fighters left to use. Like, for instance, we might still see Psyche, Shune, and maybe Alluring Mind. But those are it. I mean, those are the only ones that will be boosted for him, which is good. If you are still using them, maybe if you get K, let's say their usage can be extended for a few extra months. But other than that, yeah, they would be leaving in a few months at max, I would say. So yeah, flame-based teams, it would be definitely a great boost for them. Other than that, now some people are asking, what about Kula? Like, does K synergize with Kula likewise and Mature? I would say no, actually. The synergy is practically not that important. The thing with the synergy is that, of course, we're gonna touch on Kula whenever she comes, but you saw how K can change the background into, you know, a river of lava or whatever it's called. Kula can do the same, but in an ice background. She turns the background into ice. The only thing that they can make good use together as synergy is that if both of them were present together and they both made an ultimate, they will make a 3rd background, which is a combination of fire and ice, such that both effects given by K and Kula will stack. And that's the only thing. Kula, just to mention, when she does this ultimate and change the background, she will decrease all opponents' rage restoration speed by 30%. So it's a very important passive as well. And it can stack with K in this case if you have them both together. But other than that, that's the only thing common between them. So I don't really say they synergize that good. It doesn't mean that if you get K, you should get Kula or vice versa. Okay? So yeah, I think in those teams he should perform well. Front or back, of course, put him in the back row because I've said that he's defensively not the best. It would be best for him to remain alive as much as possible. I would strongly recommend going for his smacks, honestly, because after his smacks he can do area damage, you know, to the main target and to the surrounding fighters. That's why he can be really damaging for you know, in terms of area damage. So his smacks would be highly recommended as well. And of course, he will be gaining more layers of the Transcendent Soul, so he will be critting much more, even much more. Okay, now finally, just going to the runes section. Of course, I think you can figure it out here. I mean, he does have insane amount of crit, so he doesn't really need any extra crit. So that's why I don't see a point in giving him Killing Soul, for example. Instead, you can go for Wolf's Anger in order to increase his base attack. So imagine a boost in attack and that extra boost from the crit, because he crits a lot, then he will be deadly, guys. And because he makes an ultimate on round 1, so it doesn't matter whether you put Wolf's Anger, he will be using this this rune set in a good way. Wolf's Anger would be the only, let's say, and the best one I would recommend for him. And finally, guys, just regarding the 5th fight soul, I think now we figured out the plan of the developers. you see that they did introduce the Kusanagi Flame few months ago, and we wondered why, because it's kind of too late for Flame Fighters, but then they did introduce K. So I think that was their plan since the beginning. They just put this fight soul in order to boost K, because you know this fight soul is used on a Flame Fighter which isn't one of the Kusanagi clan. So it would be perfect on K. It will boost him in a good way, and it will even boost more the ones which have Flame Fighters in their teams. So definitely it's highly recommended to get the Kusanagi Flame for K. It's the best one for him. If not, then maybe you can consider War God for extra damage, okay? But nothing really very important. I would say the Kusanagi Flame is ideal for him. Okay guys, so I think that was it, everything regarding to Transcendence K. Again, don't feel bad because of the whole mess up in the order and everything. I would say guys, if you really need a DPS, go for him. If not, then skip him. Maybe wait for his redraw, see how his redraw will go, or whatever. Because guys, this raises a lot of questions now. Since we got him in this event, then we will be getting a boss in December. And I don't know, but there's a high chance that we might get Mizuchi in either December or January. And again, maybe we can get Kula now, because since they got K early, then why not? Maybe they can get Kula earlier as well. So guys, this is why try to be careful in spending your diamonds, okay? Try to pick your priorities. If you don't really need K, I would say, if you're waiting for Mizuchi, for example, I would say keep on saving and don't go for him, just to be safe, to be on the safe side. Okay guys, but other than that, the event is pretty good, and well, congrats to all of everybody who got him already and the people who are going for him. So yeah guys, I think that was everything. Let me know about everything about K in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.